What up, world? Waxvillain, Seattle, Washington. You already know what it is. Welcome to Waxvillain Fireside Chats. We got Kendra Morris, Colemine Records. Keep it locked. We'll kick things off shortly. What up, Vic? Appreciate you. Appreciate everybody on the line. I see you, Rue. Nine Lives out, 2/18/22, fourth full-length LP from Kendra. She'll be here shortly. Stay locked. I see your feet, appreciate you. What y'all know about this? First release. We're gonna talk about it. Kendra's in the building. Check that. Oh, there we go. What's up, lady? How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm fantastic. Thank you so much for being here with me.
My pleasure. I locked myself in my room where it's quiet.
Very good. If you're ready, I'll go ahead and kick things off. I see we have 10-9 on the line, so I think we're good.
Nice.
Awesome. I want to welcome everybody to Waxvillain Fireside Chats. Fireside Chats are similar to interviewers. However, we take the time to do the research so that we're not duplicating efforts. We want to support and strengthen existing articles and interviews out there. We got about 8 questions plus the lightning round. We are joined by Kendra Morris of Colemine Records, a division of Colemine Records. Kendra started out real early, interested in music. She was influenced by 60s and 70s soul and funk, as well as cinematic compositions, which we'll kind of talk about later. She was later a contestant on a game show called Fuse, later signed to Wax Poetics in 2011. I am so excited. We are about a week away from her 4th full-length release on Colemine 9 Lives, 2/18/22. Kendra, so happy to have you. Welcome.
Thanks for having me. I'm so nervous.
Don't be nervous. It's all good.
This thing. I'm like, ah.
All good stuff. So here's my first question for you, and I got a little bit of show and tell that I showed the viewers earlier on. This bad boy right here, I believe it was 2010, 2011, Wax Poetics. Ironically, you shared the effort with Syl Johnson, who passed.
Yeah.
What timing for the release, the interview, and everything like that? I'd love to know, when you think about 2010, this release, it's 2022 right now. What are the milestone achievements that you have thought that mean the most to you since then, that give us the version of Kendra that we're going to hear on 9 Lives?
I guess I like to say it's grown up. Every achievement I've had has been because I never quit. Like, I never kept always saying because there have been a lot of hurdles, and so many people say, oh, this happened, so I can't do this anymore. But I've always been like, this happened, but it's part of my story. It's part of my journey. Everything that has happened has been because I'm just has been, as weird as it sounds, fate, but fate is also timing and perseverance and being just keeping my ears open, being open, saying yes, not I really don't believe in no. Say yes to things that you're scared of, because being scared is so important to that's a great feeling. I feel like there's so many we're all taught that we're not I think it's in our culture right now in America. We're told don't be sad, take a pill for this, don't internet, put up your best angle. But man, that's not being a human.
You're right.
Having mistakes and learning from them and building off them and creating a new life of that's why I like this album called 9 Lives. I've had lives, I've done it, I've been the fuse thing, like that, like I'm glad you brought that up. It gets so weird. Like you'll find like I've done all kinds of weird things. I did like I remember driving in the middle of the night to Miami with my friend to audition for. It was even before American Idol. I just wanted to.
Oh, wow.
I just always have wanted to sing. I've always felt like I want to tell stories through my tools, and like
Mhm.
it's a thing of like it's just part of like just keep doing it. So when I look at the last 10 years and the opportunities and the strange things and the great things, it's all because I've just been like yes, I want to like keep learning and growing. And so this album is like, to me, I feel like it's just real growth.
I love that. I've always said, the beauty of success is the struggle it takes to get there. It means that much more when you finally kind of achieve it, right? When you've gone through, you've done the challenges, you've challenged yourself and put yourself in uncomfortable situations that you end up finding out, hey, this isn't too bad. I can do this. So
Yeah.
I think that's great. I mentioned Nine Lives' fourth full-length LP. It's the follow-up to Banshee, Mockingbird, and Babel. What I'd love to know is when you think about those albums, what's something that is a fond memory from each? What's kind of a challenge, an obstacle that you overcame? And what's something that you took away from these experiences, again, that got us to Nine Lives?
Okay, for each record, I'm going back. I think with Banshee, it was just that was my first record. Like that
Mm,
was, I mean, before that, I was recording songs in my closet on an 8-track and
okay.
throwing songs up on MySpace. And then I started working with Jeremy Page on that. Like we started doing demos together. And then when I did Banshee, it was the first time that like I've always had people say no. I've gotten so many no's, like not this, not this, not this. And when I met the guys at Wax Poetics, they were my first yes. Like they were,
Wow.
and I remember when I signed with them, it was not for a record deal. It was for it was we had a meeting with a publishing company that they were co-signed with, and it was like you and me talking. I sat at a desk with Dennis Coxon, Andre Torres, and
Yeah.
and I just told them my story. Like I used to wander around the East Village and play my guitar through a boombox that I found at a flea market, and like
Oh.
my harmonies on a cassette tape. And I told them my story, and they were like, "Let's let's do a record deal." It was like that. Like
Wow.
that's when then Banshee happened.
Mm-hmm.
That was from just like me telling my story and being like, these are my songs, this is what I do, and we just connected. And then fast forward to Mockingbird, I love music. I love flipping a song. Like there's so many, a song is a story. How can you make it your own? Like
Right.
tools to make that a story. And that was a challenge. That album was so fun, and it was a challenge to take a Metallica song, which I love Metallica. I appreciate, their older stuff. And um it was so fun. Like that's a Ride the Lightning is a great song. Like the lyrics of that song, that's about a guy on death row about to be executed, and them going on in that guy's head right now, put it in a song. And then I was like, I want to flip this song and do a version of it. And
Mm-hmm.
then after Mockingbird, there was no more Wax Poetics. I was back like not the label, and I was like, well, I'm gonna keep putting out songs. So I just put out this Babel as an EP, had all these songs. I think I'm gonna walk with you guys. I think my dog is locked in the bathroom.
Yeah, no worries.
I hear this crying. Don't look at the mess.
We're flexible. It's all good.
Look at the mess. We've got a lot of projects. I just hear him. He's a puppy, so I think he locked there. Come on, buddy. That's Jerry.
Guest appearance.
I was like, I want to properly answer these, and I hear a little howl in the background.
I feel you.
And then he's gonna join us now. This
I
is
love
Jerry.
that.
And then I put out Babel, and for that I was starting to really dive into visual arts as well around that time with my collages. So for that record, I gave myself a visual challenge on that, and I collaged 50. It took me a year to hand collage 50 individual covers to Babel. Like I used like, and then I like varnished them. And when I put the vinyl out, I did an art show and sold out of them in like less than a week. And I don't even copy one of these, but I did these little collages in the corner. And I hid myself. Made their self-portraits, and I'm hidden inside of like weird apocalyptic worlds. And it's like, I was so proud to challenge myself to do that, because for me, like music, writing, artistic expression, for me, it's a full circle. They tap back. So that's like one of my favorite things was like like it was so hard, like exhausting self-releasing. Like that was like, I felt even like, I'm open to say, like I was really like kind of pretty depressed after putting that out. Like just, I felt like I was running against a wall, you know, like you want people to hear it. I remember trying to get press, and so many people were like, it was just overlooked. And I feel like some of the songs on that like are great. Czarface has used like on Czarface Meets Ghostface, one of those songs is sampled in that record.
Yeah.
You know, like excited. And then I had done a few singles between Babel. I was just still putting out just singles, and I was like, after Babel, I was like, I'm never gonna do another album again. I'm so hard. Like, I'm just gonna put out songs, and whoever finds them, awesome. I'm not gonna stop. I'm just gonna do it this way. And then I started kind of on some newer material that is on Nine Lives is about 9 years of my lives, but there's a few of those songs that are very recent. And I remember just writing them and playing them for a friend one night. He's like, that's an album. That needs to be on a full length. And I remember going, what? Like, he put it in my head. And so that was around the time I started, like, I found Terry's email and was like, beep, boop, bop, boop. Terry, I'm Kendra. I don't know. Like, and that was kind of where it all began. And that was, sort of, and then fast forward, and here you and me are.
That's wild. I got to go back. You know, I recently took on this adventure of creating my own screen print sleeves, and I'm not an artist. So when you were talking about the varnishing and the collages and the time you put into it and putting yourself kind of in a different space, I can relate a little bit, but what I really think about, it shows how much you care about the music and the experience to the listeners, because to go that distance to give a visual when it wasn't in your wheelhouse prior, I just think that says a lot. And thank you so much for sharing that. I think everyone needs to hear that. Yeah.
I mean, I really think when people say, like, my mom actually has always said this, she goes, I'm not talented. I can't do this. And then I see like little things that she does, like little things that the way she decorates the house, or her and I dressing up in costumes and going to Walmart, making movies, like, and seeing, and I'm like, you are like, I think everybody has it in them. It's a muscle. It's something you have to constantly like work at and flex. Like everybody has something. Like I refuse to listen to anyone that goes, I don't have, you do. It's just, you got to work it. And for me, it's always been, I think when I'm not working on music, that's why I go to like doing animation or visual arts, because even though might be not writing a song that day, that piece of my brain is still working. And when I go back to write there's going to be some sort of influence in there from a picture I saw, something, and it's just a constant, and it sort of spirals, and it's like a snowball effect, because creative self is always working if you work it. So
I love everything you're saying. It's so inspirational. Seriously. Is 9 Lives your best work to date? And if so, why?
Yes, definitely. Absolutely. I'm so excited about this. It's because it's honest. It's honest. It's really honest, and it's hard for me to even say that right now, because then I feel like you got, like, everyone's hearing like me secrets, and sometimes, and as an artist, your work should be honest. Like, that's your duty, honest in your music. And sometimes, to be honest, it can be like brutal for other people if they're in the material, but you have to be honest in your music, or you're doing a disservice to yourself. at least to, you know, get out of something or express something. And also it's my growth as a technically, and using my voice and my tool. Like these last 10 years, I've sang more than ever, like more music than ever, like constantly, like really, like my mind is open to like, yeah, like soundtrack and like music out lyrics, and where I can, or I know what I like more than I've ever known in my life. Like visually, I know when I put something on, like I'm not putting something on to wear what I think someone else likes. I put something on because I know what I like, and it's a good feeling to know exactly what you want and what you like, and to articulate it. And I feel like with this record, I'm really proud of it because it's me. Like I feel like I've been working for 10 years, ups and downs, and just not quitting. And now it's like I get to just kind of splat it out and like hope that it's appreciated. And, you know, if it's not, that's okay. Like that's part of the story too, is that you can't, you just, that's part of, that is part of a story to take the downs and the ups, and
Yeah,
how do you work with them and how do you take it, you know?
absolutely. I just needed to look at that real quick. Okay, so when I listen to the album, to me, it is a very full plate. I think lots of flavors, lots of different memories. I'm always talking about, you know, I take these songs and I pin them to memories and so on like that. When I hear, I think it's Keep Walking, the first track. Yeah, Keep Walking. That is an incredible cinematic type of listening experience. There's a show on HBO that I said, oh my gosh, it immediately made me think of that. I'd like to know, because you've had TV placement before with your music. Is there a certain style when you're thinking, oh, this one is for cinema, TV, any angle like that?
No, I mean, never. Like I've never written like this would be for the way I've written with this record, and with the way I've worked with Jeremy Page, who did this record with me. We created a habit of, I go to his studio at least like numerous times a week, whether yeah or not, and we sit there. He has this little tiny studio in Bushwick, and I go sit down. There's like a car seat in there, and I sit down and I have this, like, this notebook is falling apart, but I take notebooks everywhere, and down with like, he'll have like a tiny bit of an idea. Sometimes I'll bring like some ideas. Sometimes I have a few chords, but mostly like he'll have just a couple notes, and then kind of take whatever I've been just stewing on or whatever I'm at, and I'll hear like bits of a melody or a jumble of words and be like, I don't know what, you know, I don't know what it is, but it's kind of like I start writing, and it's sort of like it starts to come out and form into like something. I go, hey, I gotta go in the studio. Then I go in the sound booth, and I'll start to lay down a little bit of this idea, and then it's like it triggers him, and because we've worked together for so long, he knows where, like, he knows the things, and so it like inspires him, and then I'll run back out and write some more while he's building, and then we go, well, and it's kind of like we go back and forth, and we'll try to like build out a song. So sometimes in a day we'll have a song takes, and then it's going back and forth. Sometimes I bring the song home and have to keep on working on it, but a constant, like, and with Keep Walking, like I that's one of my favorites. That was that I played for a friend, and he's like, that's an album. That was the, and
that's a movie.
It was, and it's a real, like, that's a real moment for me, and that's, I mean, when I it sounds corny, but like I know I feel good about something I wrote when I can like put my headphones in and walk around the street, and get into it myself and be like, get emotional, like if it brings like a thing from my stomach, and knowing like I feel it, all right, I can keep going with this.
Oh, that's great. Now, I know you mentioned Jeremy. Who else may have contributed on this record?
Well, Jeremy Page did all the main like production and co-writes. I've had the same, for this record, I've always played with the same guys for years. Like, and there's this guy, Jeremy Siegel, is on bass on most of the tracks. Colin Brown played keyboards on a few of the tracks. And then the drummer, actually, I had two drummers. One drummer actually left and has been touring with Hamilton, Sam Merrick. He's on
Okay.
it. So Andy Bauer, who has been my drummer as well, and he's on it. So there's two different drummers. So it's interesting. I would be curious for someone to go through and see if it's a fun test to see if you can feel the different, because they're both great drummers. They play different, and they each bring a different flavor. And there's a reason why, like, Sam is on Nine Lives and Andy is on Who We Are. Like, and you can go through that song and there's like everybody on those records are on them for a reason. We have Morgan Price on Drive doing the saxophone solo. And then we have this guy, Mitchell McCarthy, out of, I want to say he's out of Philly.
Okay.
And he brought in the strings and did all the string arrangements for like Drag On. So, but really it's been like just this, Jeremy and I really like working together and having constant people that you know, it's important to keep your band happy when people, and nice to people, and like work those relationships. And the longer that you have a good team with you, like it helps with your sound. And yeah.
I agree with you. I want to talk Colemine Records. How did it all come about? And I'd love to know what's kind of the difference between, say, a Karma Chief record and a kind of a standard Colemine title that we're used to.
Okay, so it came about because I feel like I cold emailed Terry one day. I don't know where I got his email from. I am an internet, watch out, this interview. I am an internet stalker, as in like, I just love, like, I go, how can I get a hold of this person? Or it's fun. It's like you can go anywhere with the internet. And I think that's very, I like found his email either through someone, or I was like, hey, let me see that. Let me, you know, or you never know. There's an interesting fact about emails. Like, think most like big celebrities, I bet you put their name and at Gmail, it's them. Usually the most basic emails are that person.
Wow.
I've noticed that in strange.
That's so interesting.
My email's really easy, but I shouldn't say that right now.
Yeah.
So
don't do that.
And I emailed him, and I just sent him like a private SoundCloud, sent him a bunch of songs, and he got back to me pretty quick, and was like, I'm gonna check these out. And then one day I was at like a kid's birthday party or something, and I get this email from Terry, and he's like, "This Life!" exclamation mark. It was just that. He's like, "This Life," and I was like, "Oh, you like it? You like that song?" Yeah. And that was the first one that he put out. He's like, "Let's put that out." And you know, he put that out, and then I was like, do you want to do some more? I think it was something, I can't remember. It was probably me that was like, hey, let's do some more, you know, or kind of a natural, like it felt good. And we said, let's do it. And fast forward, like I remember we started talking before COVID, and then everything with COVID and like record plants, and you know, it's part of everyone's story right now. COVID has proven to us all that we don't have control, and me having control issues the last 2 years was a big lesson for me.
Yeah.
So that's how I got to work with Colemine and Karma Chief. And Terry suggested Karma Chief, and it completely, I see like the like difference, and I feel like I can see the difference, and they're both sides of the label are amazing. I feel like Karma Chief tends to like really like branch out into all kinds of like, you know, can go into like it's like kind of like Colemine is like soul music, like that gut, that soul. And Karma Chief, I feel like, is where does the soul go? Like where maybe I'm sounding like woo, but I feel like all like the ways it can scratch at the surface of what does it inspire, and like because like I love like Rudy Deonda's
Yeah.
stuff is so like he was one of the first artists that I really started researching with Karma Chief. I was like, he's so cool. Like his
Yeah.
sound is cool. And like Ghost Orchestra, like that's
Hmm.
cinematic. Like I love everything on Colemine, and I get why there are record stores with a Colemine Karma Chief section, and it makes sense
Yeah.
because Harry knows what he likes too, and that's why record label like he's not putting out what's cool or gonna make all the money. Like Terry knows what he likes, and that's important. That's a part of success is honesty. Success is,
Mm.
and I will die by those words. Like even if I don't like I'm happy. Like I don't need $1 billion. $1 billion isn't fun. Like I'll take like a little under whatever is fun. So I always strive to be honest.
I get that. Yeah. Very cool. Um, let's see here. So you talked about Wax Poetics. What makes Colemine Karma Chief special? Is it something about Terry? Is there maybe some sentiments you can share about, the introduction, being together in the studio, that kind of thing?
Um, you mean like what's the difference between like working with Wax and they? I mean, I love them both. Like I love the guys at Wax Poetics so much, and I know they kind of all branched into different things. Like I think Andre's with Warner Music on all their like Andre was always like the music not he knew him and Brian knew everything, and like that was they were started as predominantly a magazine, like an amazing magazine. Yeah,
I
I
was raised on that. Raised me.
think Wax Poetics is like you open a Wax Poetics and any article you see in there is just like
Gold.
if you have a record, go listen to the record because they knew like they know music, they know what they're talking about. I'm so happy for them that the magazine is like back again because I know that their journey's been up and down because magazines have been really like through the ringer thanks to the internet and
Right.
um but I think it's really interesting because I they're both different but yet they're both the same because they're both very passionate. I don't know if I could say I'm bad at like explaining differences because I love them all so much in different ways. Like, but they remind me of each other in some ways, and I think that's probably in some ways how I wound up with loving to work with Terry and the Colemine family because
Hmm.
they know music, they know what they like, and they're like so positive and excited and eager. And that was the same with Wax. They were always like, I remember hanging out like Andre and just us talking excitedly about things we wanted to do and like his like love for things. And when I did the Concrete Waves video, that was they kept it in the family too. Like Nick Sasso, who directed Concrete Waves, was Dennis Coxon's best friend, and he had like pitched the whole script for the video, and like we all, when we made that video, like that was everybody just a team effort, and I feel like that's the same way with Colemine in so many ways too. Is like everybody like teaming up, like how can we, like help this, like push this, like we believe in this, and faith and believe in someone because.
I love that. No, that's really cool to hear. So this is probably like my favorite question that I wanted to ask you. I want to talk about instrumentation and what maybe inspired you, because I think back to the DJ Premier remix when I was listening to, I think it's Dry. All of a sudden I heard Bob James interpolation in my head when I was going there. And so could you talk about your connection to hip hop sample based culture from, working with Sarface and Doom, to being sampled by them, to singing with them, and even doing the stop animation video? What are your ties to hip hop, and how does that influence your music?
I mean, I've loved. It was funny. Like I remember back in Florida, I had like my first radio was this like Croxley that it
Yeah.
was like an old it looked like a 1940s. I remember I got it in like catalog, and I remember playing like War on player, and I was like, it was before I even really knew. I think like I even really understood like sampling or how like, and I was like, man, it was like, why can't we be friends? The keyboard part. I was like, this would be cool in a song. If only there was a way I could loop this keyboard and sing over it. And like that, and like now looking back and like I love like I'm really really like whenever I want to just like zone out and like I love Dilla. Like Donuts is one of my favorite. Alice does not ever get. I'm a gym dropout right now.
Okay.
When I go back, that's gonna be the record I listen to when I get back into it.
Yeah.
I love hip hop where the samples are really like, I love are just like, what I love about it is taking like the best bits of something, soup, and then also the poetry that goes with it. I love hip hop that bounces, where I feel the rhythm and the words that I love. I love when you can, and I think about this when I'm writing and when I'm figuring out my timing with a lyric, like when it might feel like the lyric's not gonna fit, but how can I switch my rhythm up in my voice to make that lyric like, even if it sounds like a new like word, like it does, like how do I put the meaning into this lyric? And I love that about hip hop. When you hear like, when you can hear the way that one person raps and then you listen to someone else and you know that's them because of the way that they're taking their words and putting them together. And then and like, and with Czarface, like I love like the stuff that they've built. Like I'm always like, I'll go to the gym and listen to them too, and then I'll like, sometimes I'll listen to like something of mine that I sang on, because there's tracks that I sang on that also like I've just been, you know, and I'll be like, I'm like, is it weird that I really like Dear Computer, and I'm like, is it weird that I'm like into this while I work out and it's me? I'm like, ah.
Yeah. Well, I got to tell you, so when I saw the music video for Nine Lives, I'm seeing New York City, and I hear the beat, I immediately thought of Danger Doom. And then when I went to the music director's page, he had pictures of Doom, and I said, oh my gosh, like, there's just these crazy influences where you're listening, you're like, that reminds me of something. And I think that's really cool, especially to kind of hear you explain the keyboard and looping and things like that, the different bits and pieces. For our next question, now, a lot of people watching are vinyl enthusiasts. They collect vinyl records. But from what I understand, you collect something else. Could you kind of tell us about the Enchanted Forest?
Wait, which like, you mean like all the weird stuff in my apartment?
You like taxidermy, right?
Oh, I don't have it anymore. I did. I had so much. I have a few pieces still. I had a lot of taxidermy, but when I moved to Greenpoint, I parted with I had all these deer that I had amassed all over. My old apartment was, the theme was Enchanted Forest, and I love like you can, I'm pretty to get to know, like if you go through pictures that I post, like you can figure out my favorite colors are like pukey colors, like greens and burnt oranges. And like at my old place, like the room I'm in now is actually my living room was painted that color too. It's my favorite color. And I glittered the walls too. Like there's this East Village dive called Beauty Bar, and I remember I'd go there and they had glitter on their walls. I was like, what a great idea. So I did that. And then like I had amassed all this taxidermy through like me and like a boyfriend at the time had started collecting, and I would go to the Chelsea flea market every weekend, and I found stuff and kept buying. And so suddenly when he broke up, and I kept everything and I kept adding, and then I love themes. I like to live in a theme. Pretty wide. Single room, I could have an Enchanted Forest. So yeah, I glittered the walls, and I had the taxidermy everywhere. And it's like, I like to live in inspiring places because it helps me. It continues to keep me ticking. So I still do have some of the taxidermy, and I gave all the deers away on loan. So if I could probably track them all down.
How many deers are we talking about?
I think I had like 7 or 8.
Oh, wow.
And it was all in a tiny apartment.
I love that.
It was like one guy. It was funny. The guy that I got all the deer from, his wife was mad at him and made him get rid of his deer collection. So we had to like drive upstate, and he sold them to us for like $200.
Wow. That's wild. All right. For our last question, you are about a week away from the release. What are you most proud of, and what do you want your listeners to take away after they listen to this album?
As in like what just in general about the
album? Yeah. What are you most proud of?
Sorry, Jerry is wandering around with something, and oh, he's got toys. Okay. I mean, I'm most proud of like being able to look at this album and understand it, and understand that it kind of that I put it out, because I at one point I was like, I don't know, but I'm really proud of like really being honest in it. And I know I've kind of talked about honesty a lot through this, but I'm most proud of the growth I've done with myself on this record in so many ways, like as an artist, as I think because of pushing myself in other creative directions as well, inspired and some of the tracks, and it came through writing and the way that I listen and hear things. I think as a vocalist, I think I am a better singer than I have ever been before, because I just like to see like what can I do with my tool to express myself. So I'm just like really, I'm excited about the record. I'm proud of the songs. Like I can listen to it and feel like really good about it. And I feel also just, I don't know. It's, you know, when it's weird getting older and you're like, what's gonna happen? Who am I gonna be? Like, and I'm kind of like, I don't mind getting older, because I'm making better decisions. I'm taking things a little bit better. Like if something crappy happens, I'm okay with that. I'm always like, new song.
New song. I love that though. Stoicism is a big part of my life, and I always think there's things that I can control and there's things that I can't, and the things that I can't, I just let go. But there is a sense of you know, happiness when you're making good decisions and stuff like that comes with age and everything. And I feel like I've lived the best years of my life as I've been older, of course. So yeah. So let's talk about the release. Let everyone know where they can buy the vinyl, what formats are available, where they can hear it.
Okay. Can I get Jerry? Jerry's like into Jerry, come here. Get up here. Yeah, he's the naughty one. I just got him in October. I can't trust him, so
That's Jerry?
Jerry.
Hey, Jerry.
Okay, so we're gonna talk about he was distracting me, so I had to put
No, it's all good. Let us know where we can stream. Let us know the formats that are available and where we can buy this album on 2/18/22.
You can buying the record Rough Trade right now still has. You can buy it pretty much anywhere. I know the Clear is getting close to selling out now. Like I was told that the Clear is starting to get low, so get that through Rough Trade or through independent record stores. Like support your record store. Fuck Target, excuse me. Like they don't need our money. Like go to a record store, go to your mom and pop shop. You can get it from there. If it's not there, they can order it. I'd say go through there or Rough Trade. You can stream it anywhere. Bandcamp, you can get it. Tidal, all the streaming services.
Okay.
Streaming pays nothing. Like if you really want to support an artist, get a record player and buy vinyl. You're helping an entire ecosystem right there of art. Visual artists, you're helping, you know, so I will always suggest go buy something physical. There's a coffee across from my house now that sells records.
Oh, wow.
I've been there every day. It's so cool. Like I've been visiting there every day, and like it's cool to see. So, it's on CD too. Some people
Okay.
can get it on CD. You can get it from the Plaid Room record shop. So
Shout out to Plaid Room Records.
it'll be everywhere. Please support.
Absolutely. So that concludes the fireside chat. We'll now move to the lightning round. These are 10 quick one-word answers geared to let folks know more about you as a person, less as a musician. Are you ready?
Kind of. Okay.
You got this. Here we go. Reissue or original press record?
Original.
Okay. Color vinyl or OG black?
Uh, I'm I'm kind of into color vinyl, although I know black is original. So
Okay. 45s or LPs?
LPs.
What is the last LP or 45 you bought?
Barbara Mason.
Ooh. Okay. What's the first section you go to in a record store?
Soul, funk, R&B.
Love it. What's a record you play when you're looking for motivation, when you need to be motivated?
I'd say I listen to Les Baxter.
Okay, all right. Who's an artist that's inspired your work significantly?
Who has inspired my work significantly? Brian Wilson.
Very cool. Okay. Yep. 3 albums you can't live without.
Crosby, Stills and Nash.
Okay.
Pet Sounds.
Okay.
Jimi Hendrix, Electric Ladyland.
Ooh, those are heavy. Okay. If you were not making music, what would you be doing?
Making weird movies or cartoons or something where I could just keep getting it out.
I actually thought you were growling at me, but I forgot that you're done.
Jerry.
Jerry. Okay, and so for our last one, if you had a theme song, what would it be and why?
Can I mash it up?
Absolutely. Your world.
Maybe it'd be like Pink Panther and Eye of the Tiger.
Oh, okay. I like that.
I don't know how it would work, but
it would be a good 45.
Goofier, like a cinematic version of Eye of the Tiger, because I feel like I'm always like running up a hill and getting ready, but also I like the snap when I do it.
That's fantastic. That concludes our lightning round. Kendra, thank you so much for making time to come here to talk to us, to tell about your record. I wish you the most success in 2022.
Thank you. I heard you were so great to talk. You were so easy to talk to, and it was.
Thank you. I appreciate you and have a great day.
Thank you, and everyone who on the stream, like I couldn't read anything because I can't. I'm bad at reading and talking, but if there's a way I can go back and see it, I appreciate everyone for being here and watching and listening to us talk, and I appreciate you. So thank you for being on here. And
thank you so much. Thanks everybody for tuning in. Waxvillain, Seattle, Washington. We're out. Bye-bye.
Yeah, thanks.